What's good? You are listening to Cat's Corner, episode 2 here, recorded from DJ's Universal Comics in Studio City, California. Once again with the man himself, Cat, the namesake of the show. And today we're just going to talk about, it's the end of the year, it's Christmas time. There's new comics going to come out, but I feel like the end of the year, the last couple of weeks are usually not. The hottest stuff doesn't usually come out. I mean, every so often, right?
Good stuff.
Right.
Good stuff. I mean, this week you got Dark Metal.
Okay.
You got, what else is on the table? I mean, the big one's Dark Metal, but you got a bunch of Marvels that have definitely kind of got that.
Right.
Because I guess I've been called a Marvel fanboy. I don't know. I sell comics, but I'm a Marvel fanboy. Okay, we'll figure that out.
Sound kind of triggered.
No,
is that a bad thing?
No, not at all. I mean, why have a label? How about not just be a comic book fan?
I mean, hey, I'm
That's
with that.
fair. I'm not. I don't
Give me
like
a good story, not like it.
I don't like to draw a line in the sand. That's not how I roll. But some people out there, they're very.
Gotta pick a side.
Yeah,
one of my
it's
favorite
like
books
Democrats
right now
and
is Walking
Republicans.
Dead, and I didn't start reading that till issue 100. So how does that make me a Marvel fanboy? I don't know.
We'll get to the stuff that came out today though. But it's the end of the year, and I think right now is the perfect time to start. If you haven't started reading comics yet, or if you've taken a break, I think right now, a lot of people have a lot of the last week off of the year. They got some time off, and maybe it's time to start buying some books.
I mean, no, because just jump in. There's good stuff going on. I mean, you got your Doomsday Clock. That's better on issue 1. Granted, issue 1 sold out, and those second prints next week, they'll be cover price, or the week after, I believe, whenever. But there's definitely a good time to jump in almost anything.
Yeah, and if you're not like a hardcore speculator collector, like don't get pissed off that you buy a second print. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want the second print, I want the first print. If you're trying to read the book, it doesn't matter what issue you get. And I think second prints are good. You're gonna find them everywhere. It's very rare that people sell out of the second prints unless the cover is completely different.
Right.
And if it's a DC book like the Doomsday, it's gonna be the exact same cover. They're just gonna change the color a little bit.
Right.
Kind of like the gold cover New Mutants 87.
They're doing a different hue color.
Yeah.
That's their second print is different hue colors to their to where Marvel has the logos different.
Right.
The days of different. Actually, no. For all the lenticular books that they have in this month, the legacy books, the second prints are actually the non-lenticular. I mean, it's a cool because you get the non-lenticular you get the lenticular, but not the You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a different cover altogether.
And if you're not familiar with lenticular, it's like the old school like hologram kind of thing.
3D kind of.
And you rotate the cover like back and forth, and it changes images. And these lenticulars are pretty cool because it switches from the modern cover to like an old classic cover. So it's like a throwback in between. If you have any little kids, my son, he loves how lenticular.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
You could go to college with that soon.
But I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you, Papito. But yeah, so if I'm gonna let's say I want to get my girlfriend into something this year. She's never read comics before, but she's interested. She likes the movies, and she wants to take the leap of faith. What would you recommend for someone like that starting out?
You can always. This is what I do to everybody that comes in. My taste is different than yours. I don't know what you read. I don't know. I mean, I like different things. Like I tell everybody, I'm not restricted by a budget. Most people come in with a budget. They're picky on what they read. They listen to people. I read everything. What I tell people is, look, just go directly to Marvel.com, DC.com, Image.com. Get familiarized with the product before you walk in. I mean, with all the movie stuff, you can always jump into Walking Dead if you've never read. You watch the TV show, you can jump into Walking Dead. You got all the Marvel movies. Any Guardians of the Galaxy book, or, I mean, look, Infinity War's coming up. If you've never read Infinity War, pick up, Infinity War from, the Gauntlet and all the Thanos books, because they'll play a key role in the story in the movie. Who wrote the New Avengers when they introduced the Black, was it Hickman or?
That was Hickman.
Yeah, read the New Avengers because they're taking a lot of that from the movies. Black Panther's around the corner, man. You got
February.
Yeah, and it looks great. You know, you got all the Marvel's putting out all the, they have the Epic collections. They're redoing, they're collecting the Hudlin run and the Christopher Priest run, which are both great runs. And then you can pick up the Tanishi Coates run and trades also. So there's stuff, you know. You got the Rebirth. All the DC books are great in trade paperback format, you know, hardcover or trade paperback. You know, you got your mainstream Justice League, Batman. I mean, the Superman books have been great.
And what's a trade paperback? For
They collect it. Think of it as where the comic is the movie, the trade paperback is the DVD or the Blu-ray of the, you know, be on the table forever. You can pick it up, 6 issues, story arc, you know, in and out. If you like it, you go to the next one. If not, you're done. Move on to something else. No commitment, you know.
And I think that's a good jump, like a starting point for people who aren't like collectors per se, because you get the whole story, and then if you really like the story, you can actually go and hunt down
the issues. I mean,
issues.
Look, it's at the end of the day, it's cheap entertainment.
Yeah,
$25-$30. You know, like we talked before, you know, it's you can spend $25-$30 on a lot, you know, a lot of different things, and you know, you'll never get to enjoy it for more than once. With this, you can pick it up, read it over and over again. You know, there's a lot. You know.
Yeah.
There's benefits.
It's a community affair too. When you're done with it, you can hand it off to another friend.
Definitely.
Yeah,
you can give it to a friend if you don't like to store it. Re-gift it. Get somebody else hooked on crack. You know.
Absolutely. So, what else? You got any questions? Fucking Daniel. Anyway, so you've had the chance. It's Wednesday night. The morning rush is over. You've had a chance to flip through some books. Is there anything that stood out for you today? I know you mentioned there's a few Marvel.
I'm gonna
books.
start with DC because again, if I start with Marvel, I'll maybe be categorized as a Marvel fanboy. But I'll start with DC. Although I can add Invincible in it, and it's getting to an end as good as it was, as interesting as it was. It felt kind of flimsy for the $3.99 price. Like I had to make sure that there's nothing missing. But you know, DC, you had your Dark Metal.
I hear this is a good issue. Like there's some new characters introduced.
There's a lot of tidbits like you read and you're like, oh, you know, a lot of Easter eggs and stuff like that. And you know, that's how, who knows where they're gonna go down the line with it. But the book for me for DC this week was Batman number, was it 27? 37. Man, that's such a good book. Tom King is like, oh, it's the Batman Superman out on a double date with Catwoman and Lois Lane.
Okay.
And they switch costumes. It's a phenomenal issue. It's hands down one of the best Tom King Batmans I've read so far. And I don't think I'm done reading good Tom King Batman yet.
What did Tom King write before this Batman run?
Well, he did the Vision for am I supposed to say Marvel? Oh my God, no. I'm just kidding, guys. Sorry, man. No, he did Vision, which was I highly recommend. Look, you want to talk about recommending a book to a friend or girlfriend I never read? Read the Vision.
Okay.
There's no commitment to it before or after. I mean, it's just some crazy stuff.
They came out last year, 2 years ago, right?
Was it early? Yeah, last year, right? I believe it was last year.
I think the run finished last year.
It did end. They canceled because the numbers weren't there. But dude, it was a great book.
Right, it's critically acclaimed.
Yeah,
right? Everybody was talking.
I mean, he did Omega Man during the 52 run. He did Omega Man for DC, and I didn't realize that. I don't have them all up. You know, I want to read the trade to see his take on that. But you know, Batman. I mean, I don't know what else he's done outside of that.
Right.
You know, but he's good enough. I mean, I'm picking up Batman and I'm enjoying it a lot more than recent Batmans.
Right. So you weren't really a fan of the Scott Snyder per se. I
mean, it's
really
52.
popular.
I mean, it is, and I understand people, but it's the 52 universe, so it's hard to, you know. You have 700 plus issues before, and all of a sudden it's forgotten. I get it, and they're fixing it. But I like I said before, you know, 52 lost them a lot of readers. I mean,
right.
It lost me. You know, I'm nobody. I mean, I'm not here to downplay any product because I need this product to sell to stay in business, obviously. So I don't hate or dislike anything. But when the numbers show you things, you're like, oh man, you know. you got to do something. You know,
Right.
you got to switch it around, bring it back to where it was.
And for those who aren't familiar, 52 DC decided to completely reboot their entire universe. They changed origins up. They changed they changed canon basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was done for a lot of reasons that you'll never hear. You know, I mean,
A lot of legal stuff.
There's
right?
a lot of other issues behind the publishing front. You know, that you don't know about. You know, copyrights, this, that, or the other. Movie rights. They don't want to pay. You know, things are different enough. Lawsuits. Superman's involved. You know, and you do things. You do things to avoid certain things, but as fans, you don't hear those stories.
Right.
You just see the finished product, and you can either stick with it, or you complain and you get out, and then you come back when some like Rebirth comes along, and you go, "Oh my God, it's great again!" But yeah, because it's great again.
Right. Okay.
You know.
What else this week?
For DC, Super Sons crossover, great stuff. I love that book. Gleason is great. Tomasi, they're a great team. So the Sons of Tomorrow, I think it's called, that started this week on both Superman and Super Sons. Great story, fun stuff. I love to see Damian and John. It's like, well, it is the kid version of their parents, but at a kid level. I mean, John is so innocent, worse than Superman ever was, and Damian is Batman. Like, he is worse than Batman because he's a kid and he's got that kid attitude. On top of that, I'm the son of Batman.
Right. But he's also got the Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul. My grandfather Ra's al Ghul. My mom was telling him my dad is Batman. Screw you guys. Yeah, it's my world. You guys are just squirrels playing in nuts. You know. So it's fun. That book I highly recommend it. You know, if you want to get somebody in it. You know, it's a fun book. It's good for kids too. Because it's kids. It's 14-year-olds.
Really, you think the Damian character in this iteration is okay? Because I know when Damian first came out, he was a bit dark.
I mean, he's still dark, but I mean, look, the Morrison Damian is it's okay. I mean, yeah, he is dark, but they've changed. I mean, he is a little bit lighter. I mean, he's a kid. Mm-hmm. They took off that pressure off of him of being, you know, carrying the mantle of like Ra's al Ghul and Batman. I mean, now it's more. I mean, like I said, Tom King is writing, and he's popped in this current story arc with Catwoman and Batman getting married and the whole process and introducing to the family saying, hey, we're getting married, and just
big spoiler, guys.
You know, oh come on, it's been 4 issues. If nobody, that book sold 24 sold out like 3 times. It's on like the 4th printing. If you haven't read it by now, then you need to, you know, stop. Just stop. It's not a spoiler, but
I think like Time Magazine or something spoiled that one. That was one of those random comic books.
But yeah, Aquaman's been good. I love Abnett, like Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. I mean, they make a good.
Okay, you're the first person to say that Aquaman is good. Like I
like Dan Abnett. He's always, him and Andy Lanning. They've always teamed up, and they're the guys behind, I believe, the Guardians of the Galaxy run.
Okay.
Right, I believe so. I mean, they do good stuff. Once they settle in a product, he's been around for a minute, so he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been a mess. You know, you got this, so everything's starting to straighten out itself, and he's doing some good stuff with that book. I'm liking it. I've always liked Aquaman. I like the Peter David run when he had the hook. Matey, you know, he was Captain Hook, you know. but yeah, that book is good.
Let's segue while we're on the topic of Aquaman. Why do you think he's such a hated character? Do you think it's because his outfit is stupid, or just because he talks to fish? I mean, it's like people love Namor, but I think part of that has to do with they only see Namor like once every 2 years. You know, he's not like a main character. And he's fucking
I really
sinister.
People hate Aquaman.
People do not like Aquaman. Like, if you like Aquaman, you get made fun of for that shit.
Well,
Aquaman is like, you remember?
Mind you, I don't spend a lot of time on social media, guys.
Right.
I mean, I stay away from that. I don't like it. I just read. It's like just read people's comments are just like, oh my God, did you read this before you hit send? You know, there's somebody there to help you edit yourself, because you don't need to. Not everybody needs to have an opinion. You know.
Right.
Look, it's Aquaman. Maybe, you know, you go back to the cartoon and the silliness of talking to fish. Man, I like Aquaman. He's a badass. I mean, and again, he's a tough character to write because he's underwater. I mean, it's like you take him out of the water, he's not Aquaman.
Right.
He's part of the Justice League, but if they're in space, there's no freaking water. There's no fish in space. I mean, maybe Lobo's dolphins, but can he talk to those dolphins? So he's a tough character to write. He's so maybe that, I don't know. I mean, maybe the orange costume with the green pants, people don't care for it. Maybe because they associate with a certain thing. And look, guys, get over it. Just let it go. Just let it go.
I'm just saying. You remember Beavis and Butthead? Did you ever watch Beavis and Butthead?
Yes.
There was the character Stewart that had the winger shirt.
Right.
Aquaman is the equivalent to Stewart in the winger shirt. The other nerdy but less nerdy guys make fun of you for being a fan.
Well, I mean, look. I mean, again, we all know he's associated. People like him.
Right.
Whatever. It's actually a cool character. He's a tough, like I say, he's a tough character to write because he has to be underwater, and there's only so much you can do with Atlantis and this and that. I mean, you had, they tried, but he is a staple of the DC universe. He's one of the 7, and you got to have a book. You have to have stories.
Right. Are there any other DC picks you have this week?
This week, I don't. Like I said, it's Super Sun. The whole Super Sun trilogy is starting this week. Dark Metal.
Is Dark Metal bi-weekly or is it weekly?
No, it was late. Remember, they took a break from 3 to 4 to do all the one shots.
Right.
And that took 2 months?
Right.
Something like that, because there was 8 of them.
Okay. And since we know that you're a Marvel fanboy.
Yes, definitely, because I love Marvel.
What are your Marvel picks for this week?
Well,
I know that I've seen the Doctor Strange is sold out everywhere online.
Oh, dude, that book is phenomenal. Like I said,
it's got Loki's in it, right?
Well, no, it's got Superman. I mean, Sentry in there. Oh. Dude, it's freaking. It's great. Oh, reminder. You know what? I just interject, not to be an ass, but I heard Mr. Bendis was in the hospital. I don't know if you guys heard.
Oh yeah, I did.
And we want him to recover, man, because we need him writing.
Yeah.
I mean, we can bitch and complain about people's writing, and again, it becomes a personal taste whether we like one guy. But at the end of the day, he writes comics and people buy him, so we need him healthy.
Absolutely.
So,
still a human being. So.
I mean, it's we need him healthy. So get better and get back. We're looking forward toward that Superman run.
Yeah, we wish Mr. Bendis, Brian Michael Bendis, a quick and speedy recovery. And, hopefully you get ready and start writing at DC as soon as you can, as soon as you're up and running. Interesting side note for Bendis. I just found out last week that he blocked me on Twitter. And the funny part about that is I don't remember ever directly tweeting him anything, ever.
He did what?
He blocked me on Twitter.
He blocked you on
can't
Twitter.
see his feed from my Twitter. It says, you've been blocked by this user.
Really? I'm sorry, bro.
I don't know. I found it funny. I was like,
but yet you still wish him well.
I still wish him well.
Look,
I just want the only thing.
I mean, it's not your fault that I figured out that he's gonna write Superman.
Yeah.
And he might be writing. He might be writing Supergirl too. It's like.
Well, he didn't block the show. He blocked my personal.
Oh, he blocked you, but still, you know. I mean, but.
I'm wondering if he read another comment of me talking trash about something, but I found it interesting, but. Either way, get better.
Again, get better. We need you writing comics because at the end of the day, we can't sell them without these guys, man. Yeah. And people get so hard on writers and artists. It's like, look, let me see you do this. Let me see you crank it out. Sit there and trying to figure out the story, the never-ending story.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to talk, but until you do it, stop.
No, absolutely.
Just buy and read. Enjoy. It's entertainment. That's the key word. Yes, we got opinions, but just keep it on the low.
Well, I mean, we have to have a reason to talk shit. Obviously, we wouldn't be
we can talk shit about other
this
things,
show
man.
wouldn't
Politics,
exist if we're not
bro.
talking shit.
There's so much more to talk shit about. Who took over Marvel? Editor-in-Chief Zdarsky?
Cebulski, right?
Cebulski, CB. Oh yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got himself into some trouble. Did you hear about it?
Who?
Cebulski?
No. What do you get?
He was pretending to be a Japanese person, He wrote like an anime, like a manga,
I heard
with
this.
a Japanese name, and just completely sold that he was a Japanese person. And then somebody found out and outed him.
There's a lot of haters in this world. Just because you're smarter than the average bear, somebody has to put you down, man. You gotta
What
keep
is
the
is
man
that?
down.
So he's transracial?
I don't know. I don't know the whole story. I mean, part of me thinks maybe he had like a Twitter and he had like a Japanese like picture, like of a Japanese person for
And
now.
you know what? Get over it.
Yeah.
Look, I mean.
Oh, I don't care. I think it's funny.
I mean, there's so much bigger problems in this world to worry about shit. I mean, literally, I remember, in the 80s, man, you can get away with shit. Yeah, it wasn't the right thing, but it's like, you got over it. The next day, you just got to fight or not. You walked away. You called back. You stood up for yourself. Now it's like everybody cries, And I always say, I'm watching Chris Rock, Bigger and Blacker, and towards the end of his stint, he talks about Romanian crackers, and I'm like, how the hell did he get Romanian cracker? I mean, what does he know about her? What's a Romanian cracker? I mean, I'm Romanian, but I don't know anything about cracker. I mean, should I be pissed at Chris Rock because he said Romanian? Should I be offended? Dude, if it's funny, if it's whatever,
funny, yeah.
fuck, who cares?
So they don't eat crackers in Romania.
But I don't know why would he say Romanian cracker? Because I'm white, or what? Well, what happened with him for him to say Romanian, to literally pull Romanian cracker out of every white Eastern European?
Maybe there's a lot of
cracker.
Romanians in Queens.
I don't know. I mean, if I ever run into him, I'll ask him. Say, hey, what was up with that Romanian cracker bit? I thought it was funny, but did I get offended? Who cares? I gotta live with the B of A shooting back in the 90s.
The North
Remember
Hollywood.
North Hollywood? One of the guys was Romanian. I gotta live with that. Do you think I'm worried about freaking Chris Rock calling me Romanian, saying Romanian cracker? I was like, dude, whoa, wait a minute. That dude was armed from top to bottom, and no, hey, enough with the.
Right.
Just let it go, man.
No, for real.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what was I gonna ask? Oh, Marvel. Let's get back to Marvel.
Right.
Um,
So there's a few books, but I got 5 that I really stood out for me. The Tales of Suspense with the Hawkeye and Winter Soldier. Really good read. They've tried Bucky a few times. I mean, outside of being in Captain America, where he was really good, his own books were, but I like this Tales of
this is
Suspense.
like Brubaker's the only one that can get him right.
I like this new kid, Rosenberg.
Okay.
He's doing Punisher, and he's doing this to the Tales of Suspense, and I don't know what else he's done before, where he came from, but I really like the last couple issues of the Punisher with the armor and everything, and then I'm, like I said, Tales of Suspense this week, with Hawkeye and Bucky looking for Black Widow. I thought it was good. It was real solid, not too superhero-ish, but very spy-ish. I mean, it's that tip. Again, it's if you read most of the books they've done with Bucky, outside of his Captain America run, where he was a hero, whatever, he's been playing that spy, tying them with Black Widow and everything. So that's a good read. Nice art on them. Then Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man. As much as I love Dan Slott on Amazing Spider-Man, Zdarsky on Peter Parker has been amazing. And this issue is just as good. I mean, the whole Peter Wanted, and I like that a lot. Black Panther's in it. It was a good, fun read.
I see Black Panther's on the cover.
Yeah. So it was a fun read, good read. I'm top 3. I was like, there's top 1, but I'll go number 3, the Marvel 2-in-1.
Okay, they brought that back. That used to be in the 70s, right?
Well, yeah. So they're not giving us a Fantastic Four book right away. I mean, we saw Reed and Sue and the kids in Marvel Legacy. Because we know that with number 9 they left to explore whatever. Again, that's the comic book explanation. But 2-in-1, and you can see the rebuild towards the Fantastic Four book again. I don't know how soon. I mean, I don't keep up with all. It's in the previews. I'll order it, but I don't stay on social media. But it's coming, especially after Disney buying Fox.
And the 2-in-1 is Marvel's way of reintroducing the Thing, because back in the 70s and early 80s, right? It was like basically him teaming up with
somebody else, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but they, again, between Ben and Johnny, they've been around. So Human Torch's been consorting with Medusa, or with young, Uncanny Avenger. So he's been around the universe. Ben's been with Guardians of the Galaxy, Shield. We just never saw Reed and Sue.
Right.
So now with, again, Marvel 2-in-1 is that first step to getting a Fantastic Four book out. Maybe next year, towards the end of the year, however, whenever they got it planned. But you got Chip Zdarsky, again, from Peter Parker to this really good, fun read. Doom's in it, again, being Doom, and
that's on a side note.
And Jimmy Chung, the art is fantastic. Oh my God, I love Jimmy Chung. This kid is amazing.
I am on a side note. I'm hoping Daniel's telling me something about the rights for Fantastic Four are a little murky when it comes to the Fox deal.
Right.
But I really, really want to see Doctor Doom in this MCU. I mean, more than the Fantastic Four themselves. Like Doom, oh my God.
I'm gonna tell you
might
something.
solve their villain problem.
Yeah.
Look, let me put it this way: if Disney attorneys can figure out perpetual ownership of Disney characters, they can figure out the Marvel characters.
It's not an if; it's a matter of when. Absolutely.
Yeah, they can. I mean, look, they got the X-Men. They got a lot of things back. They'll everything will, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the Disney entertainment world. I'm okay with it because I'm 49 and I get to see these movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the 70s Spider-Man TV show, watching that in Romania in the big screen in theaters in our country, and I'm like, oh my God, this is great, with the big rope web and everything, phew, things splatting all over the place. I mean, and I thought it was great then. Superman, which, man, who can't love Christopher Reeve as Superman? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so you see in the stuff now, you see the difference between a Sony-made Spider-Man to a Marvel-made Spider-Man. That's
talking to you, Prodigy.
Dude, it's
he's on another podcast. He listens to this one, and he's yeah.
I mean, it's like night and day. You know what I mean? They care. They'll get everything.
Yeah.
But again, Marvel 2-in-1 recommended. Good art, good story, solid book. I'm torn between the next two ones.
Okay.
I'm torn. I don't know what I like best. Doctor Strange or Mighty Thor. Man, Thor has been insane. Jason Aaron on this book, ever since he took over Thor, I recommend. It's like watching a movie. It's like a action. Just you read and you're like, oh my God, you just get to that last page, and this so to where 700 and 701 were like, in 701 you saw Mangog beat the crap out of Volstagg, War Thor, and just totally annihilating everything. This issue is like, you see the setup, and you see the human element in Jane Foster that she brings to the God storyline, and her struggles dying and being Thor. And the last page, again, it's one of those things where, and that's what I love about comic, when you get to the last page and you're like, why do I have to wait another freaking month? Why can't I just see this? And Thor is that kind of book right now. You
can't binge watch comic books.
I can't. I gotta wait. Heimdall taking on Manga. Come on. I was like, fucking, oh Lord, I can't wait. But it's good. Thor has been awesome. People need to. It's not my Thor. Man, come on. Thor's been different for as long as I remember. You had Frog, you had Thunderstrike, you had Better Ray Bill. Storm was even Thor for a few issues back in the late 80s when they did the crossover, between Asgard and the X-Men. They went and she became Thor. She had a hammer for him. Jane Foster was Thor back in the What If back in the day.
Right.
It's a Thor. It's not the Thor, but it's a Thor, and it's a mighty good damn Thor book. It's that hammer does wonders for Jane that you never saw do it for Thor.
Yeah, it's always good to have a reinterpretation.
He'll get a hammer back, because again, you can't copyrights indict, and you have to have that. But why not divert for a minute? Enjoy it. It's a really good read. And again, it comes down to the movies too. I mean, Chris Hemsworth can only play Thor for so much longer. He's getting old, and you already saw the transition with him, with the eye becoming King Odin, basically. So in the next, who knows, in the next wave of movies, you might get the Jane Foster Thor.
Right.
I would be okay with it, given how good the book's been.
You're gonna have to recast Natalie Portman, but
that's okay. Recast her. Again, remember, it's not about the actor; it's about the brand. Disney's about Marvel. Disney's about the brand. I want you to go see my movie because it's a damn good movie.
Okay.
You know. And then my other, again, like I said, it was a toss-up. Doctor Strange again. I mean, dude, I'm reading Superman. You know, Sentry is just Donny Cates is just I don't know. He came in out of nowhere with this Thor book, and I mean with Doctor Strange is just I'm enjoying the hell out of it. This week and just seeing Doctor Strange in a different, it's like he lost his cape and this to Loki and the things he has to do and what he's gonna do to get that back. And again, people, I mean
it was a good call. I mean, he had a pretty strong indie run there.
Right.
You know, I don't know if you read Redneck, but I read the first few issues of Redneck and I liked them a lot.
I read. I mean, I tend to read. Again, I grew up with superheroes.
Right.
I mean,
you're a spandex guy.
My range is Marvel, DC.
Yeah.
I'll expand afterwards if I have the time. You know, and again, when people say you gotta read this. But I've been so busy, and you just don't have the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just don't have the time to read everything. And someday, you know, I'll pick up the trade. I'll sit down. I'll be bored one day, and I'll read it, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it. You know, it seemed the concept. You know, was it vampires in Louisiana or in the South somewhere?
Yeah.
Redneck. Really, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know. So
yeah, they're in Texas, I believe.
Texas,
actually.
yeah.
And they're these old vampires who've they don't attack humans. They just want to be left alone.
Exactly.
And something happens in town where it sets off a chain of events where now they have to come out and fight.
It's a great concept. I mean, it's like, just leave me alone. I'm drinking cow blood. I don't care. Do your thing. I just want to be a redneck vampire.
I think they run a butcher shop.
Right.
That's like
that's ironic,
cover
right?
story.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So those are my 5. You know, I don't know if you guys heard it. Marvel's canceling titles. Did you guys hear?
I heard
You mentioned it. Danny mentioned it.
They're canceling
Hawkeye, Gwenpool. I have the list up. Hold on.
the moon girl and Dinosaur?
Well, they've been trying to hold on to that book for a while.
They're trying to push it for kids.
No, it's not necessarily kids. It's a different audience. It's more like a girl audience. You know what I mean? It's, you know, they're trying something. Like I said, they're trying to get.
Let's see. Gwenpool, Iceman, Generation X, and Hawkeye.
Generation X, really? They're canceling that?
Yeah, and then they're not sure about America and Luke Cage.
Actually, I read a tweet that Walker said Luke Cage is done.
Yeah, in February.
I'm not surprised by all those titles, to be honest.
Honestly, I mean, the numbers are not there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not making that book. You're not making any of these books interesting to pick up.
America was. They hired someone that's never written comic books, doesn't even read comic books, to write America because she was a Latina lesbian, and they were trying to.
Can you say lesbian?
Yeah, of course you
okay,
can. It's the truth. I'm not making anything up. And I think the reason why they made that book was because they were trying to attract that audience to come in, and it's like
failed.
I feel like
I've been.
You're not going to attract older audiences, like we said.
Remember, we talked about it. Look, it's. You cannot, as a grown up, you cannot just jump into comics.
Yeah.
You have to be trained to come in every Wednesday to pick up the next issue. It's great. And you know what? In the greater scheme of things, it probably wasn't a failure because it added numbers at the printer. Because nowadays, it's not about individual numbers. It's about overall number. It's volume sales.
Yeah.
So the more titles, and whatever that book sold, 10, 15, 20,000 units, you know what? It's 10, 15, 20,000 units that helped them at the overall print run to get that bigger, to keep that bigger discount and keep the cost down. You know, that's why you have all the variants. But you know what? They'll replay. You know, they've tried. You know, they've tried to keep them, and I know they've tried. They, you know, all these books. You know, but again, it's just not gonna happen. You have to start young, and unfortunately, you know, and nowadays consumers are so picky.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, who wants to come to a comic book store every Wednesday? That you haven't been, you know, you've never been in your life in the comic book store on a Wednesday.
I mean, I think it's
every week.
I think it's on us, the readers who've been here for a while. Like, you know, I got a baby now, and it's my job to get him into it. Because I'd rather him come and buy a book every week or 2 books every week instead of having him stuck on his iPad.
No, I mean, look, I mean, you know, but it's exposure too. You know, it's exposure, and that's why I was glad when Disney bought Marvel.
Yeah.
You know, they'll do it. If anybody can do it, Disney can.
Right.
Money
You know.
talks.
Yeah.
Well, no, like I said, and like I said, their target audience, 5 to 17. It's the perfect audience because that's your future consumer.
Yep.
And I mean, and you try to create titles and you try to add diversity to the market, but if the diversity is not there to support it, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, come out and buy the damn book. Don't discriminate the book.
Absolutely. No, I'm
You know what I
completely
mean?
with you on
Just you know, you want it to stick. Make sure it's supported. You know, but again, you're dealing with a generation of that. We're picky nowadays. You know,
No,
we want
absolutely.
everything catered to us, and you know, if it's we complain about the smallest things. So yeah, it's gonna hurt product in the long
Yeah,
term.
sounds like Daniel in his review of The
You
Last
know?
Jedi. But
I
anyway.
haven't seen it, so I'm gonna see it, and we'll talk about that too.
Next time. Next time.
I
All right,
we'll
well,
see.
that's gonna do it for us, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a comments, let us know what you think. We're also on iTunes, SoundCloud, Overcast, and Stitcher Radio. Daniel and Gian talk. Look for the Cat's Corner. This is gonna be episode number 2, and he did an episode with us the week before that. We're gonna try to next week. We're not gonna have one because of the Christmas and New Year, but in January we're gonna start fresh and
we'll pick it back
yeah,
up.
and
Guys have suggestions, let us know. You know, you want to see here,
Absolutely.
you know, and we're gonna try to. Like I said, I talked to a couple of people, so we're gonna try to have like some guests too, if we can.
absolutely, that'd be
We'll
awesome.
Try to make this better.
Awesome. Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
All right.
Thanks a lot. and
Happy
we'll see you
holidays,
next time.
everyone.
Happy
All right.
holidays.
Merry Christmas.